Okay, my love. So this is a part two. So you don't understand what it means when you take your self-love journey. Some of you, when you begin it, you're saying yes to you, but you don't know you're saying yes. What you're saying yes to is yes. I will allow myself to be healed in love so I can walk with love of myself and others. And then when you go on that journey, you start right at where you're at. And you will notice it keeps going back cyclically until you end up at those childhood pains. And then it gets to the deep ones. Those are the last ones left, are the hardest ones for you to get over. Those are the ones that take longer. And then you must feel within you, am I ready? Am I honest with myself? Am I telling myself the truth? Because if you lie, we'll catch you. How many of us thought we said yes to us and didn't? How many of us walk as that teenager and that child? How many times we see the knight of all the suits or the page of all the suits, especially with that one we were supposed to be with, but they're nothing but a page, trying to be a king or queen. And they're not. Why? Because they're not healed because of their trauma. And then they're coming in to see you. And see, when you go on this journey, you see so much because love opens your eyes to see. And those other people do not understand because they're not on that journey, and they do not understand you because some of you were born on your journey, whether you wanted to be or not. That's me. And then I had to figure it out along the way. Oh, that's why this. That's why this. Do you know how I figured out the patterns? Because I got tired of getting hurt all the time by people who didn't understand me. I'm still not understood. But now I honor that. That's one of my superpowers. Because I can see a mile away when someone is going to disrespect or someone is going to, you already know the signs. You know the passive aggressive. You know how you get dismissed because everyone treats you like that. That is not walking in the love of themselves. And because I walked the journey, I can see it. I can see with the eyes of love. And I can make the choice to act with love or not. And that's where the contradiction comes in. People think life is not contradictory. It's this way or it's this way. It's neither. Wrong. I told you before, life, and like the truth is itself and its opposite has to be true. That means the contradictory terms have to come to an agreement. That's called balance. So when you sit up and you get a book like the Bible and you want to know why it's contradicting itself, it has to. Life is also hypocritical and contradictory. It loves you, but it's going to whoop your butt. Isn't that what a parent does? It loves you, but it's going to let you fall and experience everything. That's contradictory. Well, no, it's not, because that's punishment and that's warning and this and this. It's still contradictory. I was thinking about that. I was like, how many times do we cancel people because they contradicted themselves? And I'm not talking about doing one thing and then years later doing something else. You can change your mind at any time. I was laughing at this cancel culture because the number one people that cancel themselves, that or counsel other folks, number one people that have something to say and that go back and forth are the people that are unhealed, that don't see the whole picture, that are jealous of everybody else, and that have been made to follow instead of them choosing to be their own leader through the muck and the hard work. And I get it. I get it. And then they want to cancel them for being hypocritical. No, there's sometimes that are hypocritical. Absolutely. That's called a lie, though. There are other times, and I want to know if you notice this while some of y'all are judging for the hypocriticalness. Have you noticed as the light has an argument, the dark has an equal argument? To every action, there's a greater or equal reaction. What did you think? The physical rules of the world and life and the universe don't extend to spirituality? They're not. separate. Science and spirituality is not separate. And once you understand that, you will start to understand how it works. Right? So you always have the light and the dark doing this. Toe to toe. Toe to toe. What you don't understand is one cannot exist without the other. Once it was introduced, but dark was from the beginning. And then light had to be shown. You understand? That was its contradictory. So it's allowed to exist. So who are you to say it can't? Again, I'm not talking about a lie. So what I'm trying to explain to you is the saying from the Assassins, the short version: nothing is true. Everything is permitted. I'm going to share something with you that I learned yesterday from a beautiful young lady, 19 years old, one of my daughters. And when I work, I adopt a lot of kids. Okay, I told you. They end up in my classroom, your baby is my baby. Because that way I can love them right. Because I know they belong to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, I'm so sorry, y'all. So we're having a discussion. I said, what is God to you? She said, God is something that walks with you. You do the work, but it guides you and walks with you. It doesn't need glory. It doesn't need praise. It needs appreciation and a thank you. And I said, well, what about those that just follow blindly like, well, God gave me that? She said, no, you give it to yourself. But it shows you yes, or it shows you no. You can decide what you want to follow with it, and you just deal with the consequences. And I was like, now this babe gets it. I said, that's exactly the right way to see it. 19. I said, but what about those who follow blind? She said, no, that's not what you do. You don't follow blindly. You don't follow anything blindly. You don't, because you'll never see. And I was in awe. This is from a babe. You understand? My loves. The saying, nothing is true. Everything is permitted. Everything imaginable and unimaginable exists. Just because you don't believe it, you don't see it, you don't follow it, you don't walk it, you have never experienced it, does not mean it's not true. And the ones that sit up and fight and you must see it my way are the weak-minded ones that are not strong within themselves, that are not secure and not confident and don't love themselves enough to understand. That must not have anything to do with me because I have not experienced that, but that is their experience. Let that be their experience. When will we have the wherewithal to be like, you know what, that could be possible. I haven't experienced it, but let me have empathy for you because you have. If we did that as a world, we wouldn't abuse our children. We wouldn't try to control them. We wouldn't tell them what to do. We wouldn't sit up there, and I mean what to do in the aspect of it makes us look bad. We raise them to be their own people, and we're accountable. Likewise, you are accountable for that inner child and healing that inner child. And knowing that there are no boundaries except the ones we set to be there. Part 3.